Welcome in, Bills Mafia. Welcome back to the Go Bills podcast. We apologize earlier for the technical difficulties that we had on the show, but we're back again with another edition of the Go Bills podcast. I'm joined with the Star from Mafia Star and the Chill Sill Bills. It rhymes, it flows. I love the style that it has. It is perfect. Joined by Chill Sill Bills with their virtual reality system that they have created. Got the football there, the helmet as well, and the Labatt. And we also have the Mafia Star as well. So today we're going to be talking about the Bills game against the New England Patriots this past weekend that we saw. Talking about how the Bills are back in first place in the division. Also talk about how they're back in first place in the AFC, which is great. It is 2 wins and 1. We are so thrilled to have that. And we'll move on to a little bit and talk about the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets game coming up this weekend as well. Talk about a little bit of the news from the week, maybe mention a little bit of Odell Beckham rumors that are going around as well. And we will end it with our game balls that we have for the players of the game for the New England Patriots and Bills game. So without further ado, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Right. Got to first of all thank Sta and his crew, Loon, who put this thing together. They did an amazing job and got this thing rocking and rolling. I know the technical difficulties happen, and they were able to get this thing going back again. And it is the coolest thing in the world. You got the Bills background back there where you have the Bills Stadium that they virtual reality made, which is so cool. Love it, absolutely. But let's get this thing rocking and rolling. I got to say, man, it's good to get a win. Back to 9-3. So that's the biggest thing. Bills played against, 3 in a row. Got to get them. So the Bills took on the New England Patriots last weekend. And the biggest things that I saw, is the run game was incredible in the game. The Bills relied on that run game. You saw that they were able to go for many carries where even James Cook was able to go off in the game, rushing for 14 times for 83 yards against the Patriots. There was a lot of dime packages that you saw that the Patriots ran. And when the Patriots were able to show a light box, Buffalo ran the ball. And they did an incredible job running in between the tackles and making sure that the Patriots paid when they did that. And overall, the Bills did rush for 19 times for 103 yards, which is an average of 5.4 yards per carry. What do you think of this Bills run game that they're doing this year? Do you like it, or do you think that?
I actually absolutely love it. The reason why I say that is because I'm sorry, I'm getting a call here. No, I absolutely love it. And the reason why I say that is because it's balanced. It's more balanced. We did 37, I think, attempts for running. And that right there is amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm so happy that the Bills were able to get the run game going. You talk about earlier in the year where the Bills offensive line has not been able to generate a push. And when they're able to generate that push and get the run game going, it only opens up the game for Josh Allen. And We talked about it in the pregame show, how we can utilize that play action. You saw it against the New England Patriots. Buffalo utilized that play action. They were able to hit Stephon Diggs. They were able to hit Dawson Knox on a couple of plays. And they were also able to hit the running backs as well. And the running backs got open, made plays, and eluded the guys that were covering them. And it made the game a lot of fun. And at no point in this game did I feel like the Bills were going to lose this game. And that's a good feeling to have after so many weeks of bad football from the Bills.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think they I don't know how connected you are, Brett, but they may have listened to your pregame show because it seems as if they literally went out there with a game plan and they didn't overdo it. They didn't have to. The Patriots obviously were confused, and they stuck to a short game there. I know a lot of the sports shows were showing that Mac Jones got a little upset there in the sideline.
Yeah, that was a little bit of some words that you don't want to hear from a quarterback, but it's understandable. There's quarterbacks that have had it. Josh Allen has had it. Tom Brady's had it. A lot of people have had it. it's passion. It's a passion for the game. And you know what? I understand it completely. I've played sports all my life, and there's times where I can be the biggest crybaby on the football field or any other court or field or whatever the case may be. And while it's okay to do, and there's times when it's not okay to do, that's the time where you should. You're trying to spark the offense. There's been struggles. You lost your offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels last year. You bring in a new guy where you have Matt Patricia and Joe Judge that are running the offense along with Bill Belichick, who's putting in his input. But you have these guys that are putting in all this input, and they're not doing a good job of running the ball. They're not doing a good job of throwing the ball. And they're not doing anything that's good. And when they are able to get the ball moving, they're stalling drives, and it ends up at about the 50-yard line. So they just need to get a couple more playmakers in their system. And I think that they're a team that's, like we said, is up and coming. They're going to have success in the AFC East. They're going to be back. They're the New England Patriots. And as long as Bill Belichick is there, they're going to have a good defense. They're going to build the defense up. And you know that Bill Belichick is going to get this thing figured out in the draft too. That's the biggest area that they've struggled in lately is the draft and not being able to turn their defense or their draft picks into prodigies.
Right. You're right. Absolutely right. And it worked out well for us. I have seen the Patriots kind of just, when Brady was there, they were just totally running over the Bills. Seemed like we had no answer for it. So the turning of the tides is good. I love seeing it.
It is. Yeah, I agree. I think that this is going to be a division, like I said, for the next few years. It's going to be the Bills, the Jets, the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins, don't get me wrong, the Dolphins and the Jets have done phenomenal things. And they're two up-and-coming teams that are, they have the right pieces with them. They have, with the Jets, we'll talk about it later, but Joe Douglas, how he's built up this team and gotten the right pieces in place for the New York Jets, as well as the Miami Dolphins, who have Mike McDaniels, who has done a great job there. I'm trying to remember
Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Those guys.
Trying to remember the GM there. Trying to remember the GM there. I can't remember his name, but I'm drawing a blank on the name of the GM. If you guys know who it is, drop it in the comments because I cannot remember who it is. But the GM for the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins GM done a phenomenal job. And he's making sure that he's getting everybody going. And that's the biggest thing. I love what they've done for both teams, but, shout out to them. But what Brandon Beane has done for the Buffalo Bills overall over the past 6 years to turn this franchise around, get the right pieces involved, and the depth that we have, that's the biggest thing. But let's move on to the overall game for the Bills against the New England Patriots. Biggest things, like I said, the run game was great. You got James Cook involved. It did what they needed to do. I thought for sure it was going to be Devin Singletary, and I know we talked about it being Devin Singletary, but how good for a rookie running back and to be able to see the rookies get involved in this game.
Yeah, it was incredible. James Cook seems like he's getting more comfortable. He has some. He's explosive as a runner, and if we do get him comfortable there, that just relieves Josh. We don't have to put as much weight on him. We get yards. But how about the time of possession? They really did great with that. Not giving the Patriots the ball, not giving them a chance to even try to score. And I love that fact.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The Bills were able to hold on to the ball for about 38 minutes, a little over 38 minutes game overall, which is a great stat for the Bills. The biggest thing is they're making the drives last, which is the biggest thing for me. Talk about the drives that have stalled for the Bills. It's been mostly in the red zone where they have struggled. But overall, over the last few games, they are getting their job done in the red zone. And that's where you see Stephon Diggs doing his magic. He got the touchdown in the red zone. Even Gabe Davis getting involved, which was another good touchdown that he had as well. That play where I thought for sure Josh was going to step out of bounds, and he was able to. He didn't step out of bounds. He was able to make a play, and that's the Josh that we needed over the past few weeks. Josh has just been inconsistent, and he's afraid to throw the ball. But to see Josh back in what he normally does, what he's done overall, the MVP Josh, it's incredible.
You know, the crazy thing about that play, Brett, is if you look back to January of this year, 2022, Josh had a similar play where he jumped almost out of bounds, didn't release the ball till he was out of bounds. And I think he connected with Knox on a touchdown similar. And that was amazing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It was to Knox in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was against the Patriots as well.
Right.
He did it again, made a big play. I thought for sure he was going to either throw the ball out of bounds or he's going to just run out of bounds. But to be able to have the vision that Josh had on that play and to always keep his eyes downfield, that's the biggest thing that I noticed on that play is he was comfortable, kept his eyes downfield, looked for the target. And when Gabe Davis made a move, he saw Gabe, took the shot, and while 9 times out of 10 I would say don't throw it across your body, that's a play where he threw it across his body, and I was comfortable with him throwing it across his body, and he made a big play.
Right. I mean, after shrugging off a defender, the guy was right there. I mean, it was amazing. That was a good show.
Yeah, it was great. Overall for the Bills, 355 yards, total yards on offense, 223 coming from the passing game, 132 coming from the run game, 4.9 yards per play. Good numbers there. Overall, 22 first downs. Biggest thing that we can talk about is this. Overall, over the past few weeks, the Bills have struggled a little bit in the third down efficiency. And this week, 9 of 15 in third down efficiency, almost 66% there with the third down efficiency. Great numbers overall from the Bills, being able to not only in the red zone, being able to be successful, but also in third down efficiency on offense, as well as on defense, being able to stop the Patriots on third down. Those are the biggest things I noticed overall as a Bills fan. Seeing those things where Buffalo was doing a good job in the red zone, doing a good job on third down, making sure that you're keeping the points on the board for your offense, as well as making sure that you're keeping the offense on the field on third down, keeping the drive going, 3 more downs, and that's how we were able to win that time of possession.
Right. A couple of those runs, we actually we skipped over third down. I mean, they were getting first downs, and the movement of the ball was just terrific. I thought it was a more mature Buffalo offense that we saw.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the amount of balance that you saw from the Bills in this game, that's the biggest thing is talk about balance.
Right.
Is you saw that you don't have to win the game with Josh Allen. You can do it with the run game. You can do it in so many different areas. That's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to see for the Bills overall. And this is a game where the Bills were tested. And even though it may not have looked like it on the scoreboard, the Bills were tested because you talk about what the media is saying overall. They were saying that the Bills couldn't run the ball. They're only utilizing Josh Allen. They're utilizing Stephon Diggs. They're not having a number 2 receiver that's stepping up right now. And the run game just isn't that good. So Buffalo was able to check those things off the board. They're able to look at those things and say, okay, this is a game where we can look into the playoffs and say, what did we do good in this game? What can we do to get better? And where are we going to go from here? And I think that this is a game where Buffalo just said, okay, this is going to be like a playoff caliber team. And we're going to treat them like a playoff caliber team. And although they're not a playoff caliber team, we can get better. And they get better overall. They were able to show that they can run the ball. They were able to show that they have a number 2 receiver in Gabe Davis. They were able to show that number 3 can do some things too. And Isaiah McKenzie overall for the whole entire season has been phenomenal. He looks great and doing what he needs to do. And he looks the part of a number 3 receiver and a slot receiver. How do you feel about that? Do you think that Isaiah is the answer at the slot?
Yeah, I mean, McKenzie has made some great throws. We can look at past games, and he's kind of been a little clutch in that way. But it's giving us options. It's giving Josh weapons, right? I mean, he has more options out there. He can go to McKenzie. Gabe Davis, he was a little inconsistent. He was, but I would like to see him be more consistent. But I mean, with the addition, we brought back Smoke. We brought, we had Naheem Hines that we could put in there. The more options that they give Josh, I think that's going to give defenses a lot more to think about. They don't know what we're going to do. they have to pretty much cover the whole field because let's be honest, this offense can score from anywhere in the field.
Yeah, I completely agree. And being, like you said, being able to have John Brown there as well. That's a good point that I didn't mention. I appreciate you for mentioning that stuff. Being able to have John Brown out there just only makes the offense better because they can also explode deep down the field as well, and they can stretch the field in different ways. You have a receiver in Gabe Davis who can stretch the field, and now you have John Brown who can stretch the field. This is an area where you can utilize them on the outsides and put Diggs in different situations as well. Not only does Diggs need to be on the outside, but he can also be on the inside where you can utilize him against the slot cornerbacks, and it only allows for Diggs to have more catches.
Exactly. That is, opening up that field, making sure that we're one of the hardest offenses to defend. You don't know what Josh can do. Of course, he's always going to use his legs. His elbow seems to be getting stronger, like he mentioned in the press conference. So I think we're turning in the right direction. The only thing is, a lot of people say the Patriots defense, even though they're not the worst defense, we definitely know we're going to have some games and we have to work with even stronger defenses coming down the line.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that, Sta. Overall, great things, like you said. The only thing I will say is I would love to see Buffalo being able to get Dawson Knox involved a little bit more. That's the only thing I would say on offense. But love what they did. Love the pass blocking that we've seen from the Bills. And gosh, I got to give a shout out to David Quinsbury. Being able to stay in the game and being able to not only with the injuries that he had, and while many people will say that he should have been taken out of the game, and while I do agree with that, there's healthier players that are out there that could have been in the game. Just to see that warrior mentality that he has, and to be able to just keep going out there and keep working and do what he has to do, that's incredible. And he's also a cancer survivor, and to have him on the team is incredible because you talk about Buffalo, and Buffalo, I don't know if you know of, and I've never shared this story with anybody else. Buffalo has a place called Roswell in downtown Buffalo. And having Quinsbury takes me back to the times when I would go to Buffalo, and I would always see Roswell. It's special to me because my mom had cancer. She had leukemia, stage 4 leukemia. Thank God she's still alive to this day. But to have leukemia and being at Roswell, it just gave me a little special moment because to see somebody that's also had cancer and has battled through it and is now striving in his career and being able to keep things going and hopefully bring home a championship to him. I would love to see that happen for him.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. I know Bills, even with Jim Kelly, he was he battled cancer very, very strong. The Mafia supported them. The Bills supported him, of course. Part of the reason why Chill Seal was invented was my mom had multiple myeloma. She passed away to that in 2021. But it's not an easy thing. It's a very hard struggle. The reason why Chill Seal's mission is to look out for anyone with physical health and mental health is for that. My mom's name was Sylvia, so we actually named it after her. So I totally agree with that. For having Quinsbury out there and showing how strong he was, that does nothing but help his teammates. It makes them, just want to, fight for that guy, and fight for the Bills.
Exactly. I completely agree with you on that. I mean, being able to have him out there, not only does it make Buffalo better because it makes them, you want to fight for that next guy over from you. And to have Quinsbury out there and his story, not only the story, but being able to be out there as much as it is, you're right. It's going to make sure that the next player over is going to fight for every single opportunity it has.
Oh yeah. The best thing about the Bills is it seems like through more adversity, they come together. Even with the 3 road games, we haven't had a home game in weeks. For them to come through, like Josh said, they could have used any excuses in the world, to lose games, but they found a way to win.
Yeah,
that's a great sign for them.
That is a great sign. I completely agree. 3 road games in the span of 12 days.
Right.
Man, good to be home. That's the biggest thing that you heard from Sean McDermott. It's going to be good to be home, be able to play in front of Bills Mafia. being able to have another game here. And then after that, you have another game at home again against another division rival in the Miami Dolphins. Now, I will give the breaking news, not breaking news, but the news on that today is the Bills game against the Miami Dolphins has been moved from the 1 o'clock slots being flexed to the 8:15 slot on Saturday, the 17th of December. So another night game for the Bills, which I absolutely love. It's going to be in Orchard Park. Great atmosphere, perfect football atmosphere. And Primetime Josh is back. That's the biggest thing. Primetime Josh coming back out there and doing his thing under the lights in Orchard Park. That's going to be incredible.
Oh yeah. He's gonna. He seems like he shines more in that stage. He's in prime time. So I think we could expect some more maybe superhuman plays or superstar plays around.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of Fitz magic. I'm going to say that. I know that they had to talk.
Did you see he had the Fitz magic jersey on?
That's exactly why I said it. That's exactly why I said it. I think that there's going to be some magic there, that Fitz magic or something like that. Man. We'll go into that a little bit later, though, talking about the after that. But let's move on to the defense and talk about the Bills' defense. A lot of good things that you saw from the Bills' defense. They absolutely dominated, in my opinion, being able to stop the run, only having 60 yards given up in the run game. Biggest player in the run game was Ramondre Stevenson, who had 54 yards, but being able to stop overall the run game for the Patriots, that was the biggest thing for us. Talked about the key matchups that the Bills were going up against, and the biggest thing that was the keys to the game was stopping in the run. Buffalo checked that one off the list right from the get-go.
Exactly. I mean, the defense, we knew about the injuries. Of course, the main concern was Von Miller. He's not going to be there. I mean, and that definitely was a concern for me too. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was good to see that the Bills were able to step up with Von Miller being out, and Buffalo was able to get Greg Russo back, as well as Shaq Lawson and Boogie Basham back out there, even AJ Epinesa making some plays as well. It was good to see that the defensive line was able to step up in this place. And I got to say, overall, Greg Russo made a big impact on this game, being able to make plays not only in the run game, but also in the pass game, being able to block passes down. That made the difference in this game, in my opinion.
Right, you're right. Russo was a great addition. It was great to see him out there. Great to see Trey Day out there. Tremaine Edmonds. That was very good. I mean, Edmonds was making tackles out there. That thing was amazing to see. It seemed like the defense stepped up, having their captain out there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Being able to have a healthier defense, that's what we talked about over for the past few weeks. Buffalo hasn't been healthy, and now to see not only Tre'Davious White coming back, but Tremaine Edmonds coming back, Matt Milano being back as well, and even Greg Russo coming back, Jordan Poyer starting to get a little bit healthier, Josh Allen's arms getting healthier again. All these pieces being able to get back out there, that's going to make this team more explosive and even better on defense, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just for the record, I think that was a pick. I think Poyer had an interception.
Yeah,
just put it out there.
I don't blame you. I mean, while you do have to have the ball until it hits the ground, I mean, in my opinion, that's a pick. That
was a catch. He did a great job. It was a great effort, and we can at least give him that.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that. Overall, I mean, the Bills being able to stop almost everybody in the pass game as well. Good things that we saw. The only thing that really was hard was the first drive, being able to have Marcus Jones come in there and make big plays as well. It just made the game a little bit, in my opinion, scarier, because I'm like, what is Bill Belichick going to do next? And I thought for sure that Bill Belichick was going to have a trick up his sleeves or something like that. But you could just tell that Buffalo's defense was not going to let them do anything. You talk about the safeties, being able to play cover 2, cover 1, and even playing cover 0.
Oh, yeah.
Mac Jones was not able to see the field or do anything. That zone coverage was incredible with the 2 cornerbacks that you saw out there in Tre'Davious White and even Xavier Rhodes out there as well, making big plays. out there too.
Right, exactly. I mean, were you surprised that Patriots didn't really try to do a long, throw or anything like that? Or do you think maybe that was the defense?
I think that that's just the defense. I really do think that it was because Buffalo was just nonstop they're sending pressure to Mac Jones, and then their defense, the guys that they had out there, whether it was Taron Johnson, it was even Xavier Rhodes, Tre'Davious White, all the guys that they had up, every guy that they had out there, they're covering their receivers. There wasn't anywhere for Jones to throw the ball, and
right.
I think that I got to give tremendous credit to Leslie Frazier on his defensive plan that he had, because the plan that he had was incredible. He did exactly what you needed to do, and they weren't able to get anything on Buffalo. And you talk about when the Bills are up big, it changes the whole entire game plan for the opposing team. Not able to run the ball. They're not able to establish the run, which is the weakness of the Bills' defense. And then they have to play catch up and they have to throw the ball, which is the strength of the Bills' defense. And having that really helps the Bills because you have Jordan Poyer back there who's going to have almost a pick a week, in my opinion. You have Tre'Davious White who's just coming back into his form. And while the first week that he was back, he only played 15 snaps. This time he played a ton more than that, making big plays left and right. And you have that all-pro back there again. And to be able to have him back is going to take out the number one receivers for opposing teams each and every week. Then you have to go up against whether it's Kaiir Elam or it's even it's either Xavier Rhodes, whoever it is, Dane Jackson, going up against them, who Dane has struggled overall for the past few weeks. But I do think he's going to come into his own soon. And to have them out there, and now you have to go up against the number two receivers is going to be even better for Dane in his career, because having him going up against number one receivers was not going to work.
Exactly. You're right. Trey Day being out there, he takes out pretty much half the field. I think I heard Thurman Thomas say that on Bills Live. He was saying having Trey Day out there, it definitely makes the or at least takes away options from the quarterback.
Completely agree with you there. And not only having him out there, but also having Jordan Poyer on the other side, takes it away the same side. If Buffalo lucky, and there's rumors potentially that Micah Hyde might be coming back later in the season, I don't know if that's true necessarily, if Buffalo is going to try and rush him back, or if they're going to just wait until the offseason, let him get back to 100% healthy, and he will miss the whole entire season. But if Buffalo is able to get Micah Hyde back, that'll be incredible. And that rumor was first started. I will tell you who broke that story to me is Red, White, and Bills. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to him because he's been in the chat room a little bit here. I'm going to throw him out there. He says, "Sup guys, go Bills," on YouTube, saying "Go Bills." He broke the news to me. I didn't even know about it because he broke it to me, did an incredible job on that. And if Buffalo is able to get Micah back with his neck injury, that would be incredible. And to be able to have him in the playoffs, gosh, it's another weapon for the Bills.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, we can all applaud the Bills organization for allowing the players to get healthy, kind of saving them from themselves, kind of with Von Miller. I remember he saying that he was going to, try to make it back for the Jets game. But, of course, it would be great to have him. I think it'll be even greater to have a fresh legs Von Miller come in the playoffs and kind of help us in January,
I completely agree. Having Von be healthy, the biggest thing that they say overall is with the injuries is, especially with Von's situation where he has the meniscus injury, is being able to have that injury. You're supposed to be playing on that injury if you are.
Yeah.
When they do have that, when they are able to play, it makes a big difference for the Bills because having Von out there is another guy like Bruce Smith. When he had Bruce Smith out there, you had to fear him every single play. And I do think that next player that you're going to have to fear is Greg Rousseau. And he's coming into his own. He's going to get better as the season goes on, and he's going to be the Bills' best player in not only this year, but for the next few years to come.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree.
Appreciate that. I'm going to give another shout out to Red, White, and Bills here, saying Bills are back on top where we should be. Man, that's the biggest thing that we talked about overall throughout the whole entire episode. The Bills being back on top, being back to that dominant team that they have been. And number 1 seed.
Beautiful. I mean, I know we were off on Sunday, but I know all of us were looking at the Chiefs game and looking at the Dolphins game, and we couldn't ask for any better result. It was awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I have a league that I'm in where we do the Vegas picks, and everybody clowned me for doing this, but I told them what I was going to do beforehand. And I said, I'm going to take the San Fran over Miami in the game. They covered the spread. Right. I took the Vikings over the Jets, covered the spread. Nice. And I also took Cincy over Kansas City. And people said, are you crazy? What are you doing? Kansas City's been playing very good overall. And I said, no. I said, the Bills are going to be back on top. Watch and see.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
Also, I screwed up. This is where I started with the screw up. I took New England over Buffalo. Hear me out. I took them on accident. I was supposed to get pick Buffalo. I had a key on Buffalo, and all of a sudden my phone shut off 2 minutes before the game started. So it was 8:13, and I was taking Buffalo, and I had to redo my picks. Got it to 8:15, and they took the underdog on me, and I got the Patriots. And if I would have had it, I would have had all 4 right, had it with success. And it would have been perfect. And I messed it up. And I'm going to apologize for my dad. He saw it. He knew it. He said, what the heck are you doing? What's your problem? And I said, Dad, I'm sorry.
I can't get on you too much because, we made our predictions. I was a little off.
Yeah.
I think I said 27-10,
Yeah, you're right. Let's go into those score predictions because you were closer, man. You're almost 1 for 1 on those predictions. 27-10, you said. I said 38-10. That's 10 right for both of us. That's a good start. But I said 38-10. You're closer, man. You're playing the prices right. You would have been on stage with Bob Barker.
I'll take that.
Yeah. You would have been right there with Bob Barker and Drew Carey. You did a great job with that. And, man, almost hit it spot on. If you that doinked field goal cost you the most because you would have had it spot on. Actually, no, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. Actually, I'm sorry. I messed up. The doink field goal would have messed it up because you would have 13.
Yeah, that was that's right.
That was the Patriots. So, you get one more field goal from Tyler Bass, and you would have had it. But
I would have had it.
Yeah,
but I'll take the doink. I'll take the bad field goal from the
Patriots. I'll take the doink. If the Buffalo would have held onto the ball with that fumble, you might have had it.
Right. I mean,
it was spot on.
It was close. And I don't predict much, but maybe I should do it more.
You should, man. Yeah, I mean, should put him out there. You did a good job. Overall, like I said, good stuff from the Bills. Let's go into special teams real quick. And we got to give a little bit. This is the biggest thing that we got to talk about. Special teams. The only thing that we saw for the special teams that was the best part, and I will give a shout out to Tyler Bass, who had the one field goal. Did what he needed to do. But for Sam Martin to have to come out onto the field for the first time in 3 games for the Bills against the Patriots and to punt the ball 3 times, did exactly what he needed to do. That was good for me. But I gotta give the Bills a little bit of some slack on that because we were expecting another game where we weren't going to have to punt.
They spoiled us. We didn't punt against the Patriots.
They spoiled us.
They actually did that.
Yeah, completely agree with you there, bud.
But
let's move on to the what we did right, what we did wrong overall. Okay. I know some of this was me, some of this was you. I'm going to move over to my next screen real quick. Week 13, going back to it. We talked about the keys to the game. We can talk about this real fast. The biggest thing we talked about was for the Bills to be disciplined in the run game, continue their gap integrity, and being able to tackle. I got to say, stop. If you agree, they checked the boxes off for me.
Okay.
Would you agree?
I will.
Bills being able.
I have to agree with that.
Bills being able to move the chains. That was another big thing. Buffalo had 72 plays on offense. Being able to do that, the Bills are second and third down conversions overall throughout the season, and New England was awful. Buffalo was able to hit that right on the spot, 9 of 15. Buffalo hit that right on the spot, and that checks my box.
Same for me.
Next thing was for Buffalo to let Josh be Josh, and I think that Buffalo did that. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. Yeah, like we talked earlier in the show, giving them the options, not letting them think he had to put the Superman cape on for the entire game.
Exactly. And the next thing that we talked about, bear with me 1 second, I lost my mouse real fast, was the Bills. See, technical difficulties not only happen with you, bud, so they happen with me too. So I told you about that. The Bills being able to utilize that three-headed tandem, and while I do think Buffalo did utilize somewhat of that three-headed tandem, I'm going to give them the check mark on this one, just because I think that Buffalo was able to utilize that three-headed tandem in different areas. Not only were they able to utilize that three-headed tandem in the run game, but they also utilized James Cook, Devin Singletary, as well as Nyheim Hines more in the pass game. And I think that's where Buffalo had the most success. And we talked we said that they utilized that three-headed tandem in the play action, and they did that. So the fourth category was the three-headed tandem, being able to utilizing them to set up the play action. And they checked that off for me.
Yeah, no, I'll say the same. I'm still kind of, and I know I'm not the only one. I'm waiting for them to break, either Nyheim doing a nice return or even Cook kind of getting in open field and getting into that end zone. I think they're so close. They're really close to it.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that. They need to get one of these guys other than Devin Singletary into the end zone, and I'd love to see it be either Hines, who we gave up a lot for. We gave up a fifth-round pick for Nyheim Hines, and we're not getting the return that some people in the Mafia are wondering we should have gotten. And
well, the Mafia doesn't have patience, right?
Yeah, they don't have patience.
We're impatient. We're passionate.
I'll give a shout out to Sean with Red, White, and Bills. He's messaging me in the background saying we need to get Hines more involved, which I completely agree with him. He's right on that. We need to get Hines involved a little bit more. And he's saying you see Jeff Wilson, you see different guys. Christian McCaffrey is getting involved with their teams. And Buffalo's just slowly, I would say, if you had to give it in terms of like running, they are like, in my opinion, like sleepwalking with Nyheim Hines, because I don't know why it is, but they need to get him a little bit more involved in the offense. And I think that this is going to come next week against the New York Jets.
I think so. Another thing is, with a team with as much depth as we have, we already have players that can do great. We talked about McKenzie earlier. Nyheim Hines is a great yards after the catch type of, player, but just fitting in the pieces and make sure he gets in the right place. So I'll be a little patient just to see him get in the perfect place. But I do agree. We do need to get him in there, give him more snaps. That's how he's going to be able to get back, and actually fit into it, make it work, like he said when he first got it.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. Fifth one was generating the pressure from our interior off or defensive line. Don't think they did that so much, but overall, do like the pressure that we did. We were able to get on Mac Jones, which is just not the most that we should have gotten.
Yeah, I might not check that box. I want to see more.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
I'm going to give it a. If we have the check mark, we have the X mark. I'm going to give it the minus. Okay, so I'm going to put it right in the middle. I'll put it right in the middle. Would you agree with there?
I will. It's things we have to work on.
Things we have to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So I would say 4 for 5 so far, and then the next one was eliminating the penalties. And Buffalo did have 6 penalties overall in the game, giving up 47 yards overall. Have been averaging quite a bit of penalties overall throughout the whole entire year, and I do think overall did some good things. I'm going to give them the in between the minus and the X. I'm going to go a little bit further, and I'm going to give them a slash. Would you agree?
Right. I mean, that we did have a pass to Stephon Diggs was a great pass, and I know that got called back. That was hurtful.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also having the one play where Damar Hamlin was called for the targeting foul, which in my opinion, that targeting foul, while many people will say targeting is kind of college football related, where they got called for the targeting and he was ejected from the game.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt like he
hit.
was. Yeah, it was a nice hit. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I do feel like he kind of led with that shoulder. Shouldn't have led with the shoulder as much. And I mean, I'm sorry, but go back to the old days where we can play a little bit more. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's a physical sport. I do applaud them for helping out the players and making, putting their health first. But yeah, you gotta let them play, man. These guys are, they're specimens. They've been training for this. But yeah, I wish we could get back to a little more. Maybe not too much of some decades before, but yeah, let them play. Let them play.
Yeah, completely agree with you. We're joined here by the staff with the Chill Cell Bills, bringing in his virtual reality system. Appreciate you for doing that with us. Got to say, man, I appreciate you for going into my DMs, shooting me out, and giving us a shot to have this on here. You're bringing this onto our platform. It's not only going to make our platform better, but I want to help you out as much as possible. So I do appreciate you for being on here, man.
I'm so glad to be here. Anytime, man.
No problem, man. And you want to do this? Let's do it. The next two things I wanted to bring up real quick, because we are kind of cutting into that Monday Night Football game. Right. I want to bring up real quick. I want to go into the overall. We're going to go into the overall stats for the playoffs real quick. We'll go into the playoff race. I'm going to bring back into the overall playoff picture. I wanted to put that back on the screen. Buffalo back into the lead in the race. They are in first place overall at 9-3. You also have the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-3 in second place. Baltimore Ravens at 8-4. Tennessee Titans at 7-5. And then you got the wild card teams as well. The Bengals at 8-4. Also have the Miami Dolphins at 8-4. And the Jets at 7-5, and then there's plenty of teams in the hunt for this thing, and it could come down to the last week of the season where it could be a game where even the Pittsburgh Steelers get into the playoffs. You never know, but I mean, this could come down, like I said, to the last week of the season.
Right. You're right. December, like all the players say, this is the month that they're really worried about. This is the one that they have to show up. This makes all the difference.
I completely agree with you. And another thing I wanted to bring up as well, there's been a lot of rumors and everything you've heard from Bills Mafia, and this is something that I wanted to get out there, is the Odell Beckham news. I know that a lot of people are wondering about that. I got a lot of people in my DMs chatting me up what's going on about it. We have heard from some people, reporters, that Odell Beckham did have his visit with the Bills over the weekend. He had the visit. I know that there's been a lot of reports that people are wondering why we haven't seen any photos or anything like that. A lot of the reporters were off for the weekend because there wasn't a Bills game. Right. And the good news is Buffalo did have the visit with Odell. He was here. It was on the official transcripts for the official visits, and he had his visit. He has now moved to the Dallas Cowboys. He's going there, doing his visit, and we could see a decision coming later in the week, possibly even after the this week. And there has been some rumors as well that Odell is not healthy and could wait until next season to sign.
Right. That's a good point. I know the Mafia is kind of split. Some saying we don't need him, some saying we do. But his health is actually a concern. We need to make sure that he is able to play. And, I haven't heard any teams actually letting him, practice or show how healthy he is. But I do know this surgery is something he went through before, and actually came back stronger then. So I know Von Miller's rooting for him, and I might be on the side of saying, hey, yeah, let's see if we can get him in there. Let's see if we can get a real positive, number two, with him and Diggs. I think that'd be great.
Completely agree with you there. I do think that Buffalo does need to get, if he is healthy, go after him. But if he's not healthy, hold your horses.
Yeah,
Maybe wait until
he's an
after the
expensive one.
season. It's an expensive decision, but you can't make a big decision on him. And first of all, his health is the most important thing in the world. So if he's not healthy, sit out the season, do the right thing, Odell. If you're watching the show, I would love to see you in Buffalo. Don't get me wrong, but biggest thing is your health. So make sure that you are healthy. Let's move on real fast to the New York Jets game. We'll talk about what's going on overall throughout the week for us. Revenge game. We'll talk a little bit about the team. Well, I would love to hear from you, Stop. What's your biggest fear for the Jets? Is it a running back or a wide receiver? Who on the Jets are you most worried about?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think my concern is the defense. The Jets defense is a tougher defense, especially tougher than the Patriots. You got Sauce over there, and he's a beast. Even though I think Stephon Diggs is going to take him to school there, as a veteran. But that defense is that they're very much. Like the last time we played them, they seem to just be a little more hungry than the Bills were. And so that's what I see. It's not too much about an offensive player, even though if our defense is getting healthier, I think we can kind of combat that. But it's that defense, man.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. I'm going to give a guy that we're going to definitely talk about in our pregame show, and that's going to be Leonard Williams. I'm really worried about him. I'm sorry, Quincy Williams. I said Leonard Williams.
You said Leonard. Leonard might be his brother, but yeah,
Quincy. Leonard's his brother. I'm thinking of the wrong one. I apologize. Quincy Williams. Quinnen Williams. I'm sorry. I'm dropping names out here. So many Williams that we've had to deal with for the New York Jets. The Williams. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, Bills Mafia. See, I even said it. I have those mistakes. I make some mistakes. I apologize. Hey, listen, it happens. It happens. But yes, Quinnen Williams, man.
Yeah,
Quinnen Williams is he's having a great season overall for them. 24 sacks or 24 solo tackles overall, 9 sacks this year, making some big things for the defense of the New York Jets. He's my player to stop overall this week. And with the Bills having some success overall over the last few weeks with the run game, he's going to be the player that I think we're going to have to double team throughout the whole entire week, whether that's Roger Saffold and Mitch Morse, or if it's even Ryan Bates and Mitch Morse. Whatever the case is, you're going to have to take this player out of the game, because if you get him involved in the game, it could be done for the Bills. And
you're right.
If you get that interior pressure, I'm more afraid that they're going to send the house one time, and it's going to be another serious injury for Josh Allen. And I don't want to see that.
That was scary. It really was. But I think, one of the best things about the Bills is that since we already seen it before, the lessons that they learn, every time we see them play again, you can kind of see them implement them lessons, and so I know they're aware of it. And it was great that we took out the Patriots on Thursday. It seemed like you have a nice little break for the guys. They can get healthier. We're not going to play the Jets till Sunday, so that's also amazing. It's probably the first time we haven't played on Thursday in quite some time.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I think this is going to work in our favor.
Yeah, being able to have the 10 days off, that's the biggest thing for the Bills. And to have a team that you're going up against that played on Sunday, where you have 10 days rest, you can prepare for the game 3 days earlier. That's a big thing for the Bills. That's a big plus, too. I will say that. But I don't want to get too much into the Jets game. We're going to do a pregame show.
I'll be here for you.
Yeah, we got a pregame show coming up later in the week. Probably going to do that either tomorrow or possibly moving that into Wednesday. But I will have it live for us. We'll be on it. We're going to have that going. It's going to be great. I got to say, overall, thank you so much, Sta, for having not only the virtual reality on here, but for yourself being on here as well. It's incredible to have you on here. Love having you on. Anytime you want to do it, you're more than welcome to come on the podcast. And I got to say, man, this is incredible what you've done with this metaverse that you've created. It looks fantastic.
The Bills this is the first ever. The Bills are the first franchise to have something like this. I've even been speaking with the some of the personnel, but I'll come up with an update on that when I hear from Matt. You're going to be the first one to know.
That's great, buddy. I really love it. It looks incredible. I know you have different places that you can go in here. You have another one where it's a bar, and I'd love to. That's where I'm going to head after this. I'm going to head to the bar. We're going to go over there, chill a little bit, get some drinks, watch a little bit of the New Orleans game against the Bucks. Do that, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. But we do have to give a shout out to you, man. I know they can find you on Instagram as well as there's a few other platforms that you guys are on. Can you let the folks know where we can find you at?
Chill Seal Bills. That's on Instagram, YouTube. We still under construction with the website. But like I said, you'll be the first to know. Come by, like, subscribe. We have good content out there. We have some humorous content, and we also have a couple of recaps as well. A lot of Bills and info. So the Mafia is always welcome.
Awesome, man. I love it. I love everything that you're doing with your podcast, or not your podcast, but your channel. You got great things going on. Love that little video you did on Instagram as well, where you had it where you're dancing around, man, and you're all happy because Buffalo is back in first place. That's the biggest thing we got to say. Buffalo is back in first place, not only in the division, but overall in the AFC. That's the thing that we want to talk about. We're going to emphasize that. Number one. We're going to keep that energy up every single week, bud.
Right.
Love what you've done. This has been the Go Bills podcast, and I will say, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on social media. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter at Go Bills Podcast, and on our new website that we just created, the GoBillsPodcast.com. We will have all our shows, upcoming shows that we're going to be doing throughout the week. We will also have different things going on, latest updates as well. We're also going to have, we're going to do photos from Bills Mafia. If you share your photos with us, we will put them on our website as well. Any photos that you have from the games or anything that you might have done at your house or something like that, like you created. I know there's people that create corn mazes in their backyard. We'll put that on our channel. We'll have it on there.
Nice.
And Bills Mafia, I will say this: do not send me stuff that is inappropriate on that, because that will not be featured on our Instagram or on our website. So don't put inappropriate stuff on there. Overall,
play nice.
Play nice, guys. This has been the Go Bills podcast, and we will see you here in the week to talk about the New York Jets and get this thing rocking and rolling on Jets Week. This has been the Go Bills podcast. We will see you next time. As always, Go Bills.
Go Bills. I've been drinking too much. Thanks, man.
Thank you.